Hey everybody, welcome to the channel, giving that information, giving that knowledge to hike with confidence. And I'm going to be talking about a particular park that's great to check out in the summer and go out and venture through and learn a lot of stuff, a lot of history, and a lot of interesting facts about nature just in general. This particular park is Año Nuevo. I really like Año Nuevo, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Really great place to go in the summer. It does get a little windy, can get a little cold. It's an awesome park. A lot of people like to go surf around there, but they also have a preserve that you can go to and check out. It's about a 2 to 4 mile hike, depending on how much you want to do. And you got to get permits to get the preserve, and the preserve is of the northern elephant seals that we have here in California. A pretty large amount of northern elephant seals, to be real with you, and we'll get to that in a minute. And you can get a permit. The permits are free, but you do have to have a permit to go in there. No food's allowed in the preserve. They do not allow strollers. No dogs whatsoever. So you cannot be having any of that stuff. But you just go in there, have lunch before you get in there. Bring water, though. That's okay. And go check them out, because there's some really awesome stuff to check out. And there's some really just different types of flowers they have there from different types of grasses you can see here in this image. I do warn you, though, there is some ticks on this grass, so don't get too close if you are have the EBGBs about ticks. I'll leave a tick video before after this so you guys can have a better understanding about ticks. So this is shot in the southern part of Año Nuevo. So as you can notice that there is a house out there in the distance on this island, and that house is the Año Nuevo Island, and the house was a station that they had, and they had a kind of like a lighthouse, almost a beacon, because it would get quite foggy there. A lot of ships and stuff crashed on the island. So they had a residence. They had 8 rooms, house, so it's pretty big, as you can see in this picture I got from the state park's website. They had 8 rooms, and then 7 with the assistant, 7 from the assistant keepers, and then they had kids there that they would travel and take these kids across the water to take them to school every day. So they had to get on a rowboat and row out to take the kids to school and pick them back up and row back onto the island. So that might have been quite the adventure, nonetheless. And this went on about early 1900s, and then, from my understanding, they ordered to close it in 1948. So they do have a research facility still on the island. They've got like basketball courts and stuff for a lot of the researchers from Monterey Bay Aquarium and other researchers as well. And they do a lot of research on there to make sure that the elephant seals are doing okay, and if there's any death or anything that goes on, what the causes are of that death, and as well as birds, because there's a pretty big bird population as well. It's pretty funny. It's just a creepy house. It's got that Hardy Boys look to it, you know, like those old books I used to read as a kid. Those are the days. But the one thing that I want to bring up with grasses, and I'm not the master at grasses and everything like Tyler is, but I do want to bring up just the concept of grasses alone and what they're doing. So you can see how grasses move and adapt to the wind as they go back and forth. It's pretty interesting to check out. These look like non-native grasses here. They look like the foxtail. But it's cool to check that out, because they're going with what's going on. So if it's windy, they're going along with the flow, and they're just accepting the flow and going with that natural rhythm of the wind. It's always an interesting thing to check out, because it's something as people that we can really relate to, or try to be more reflective about. So the sound that you heard there is a male elephant seal. And we heard that occasionally. And you can see a bunch of those elephant seals all lounging there. They had some otters as well. But mainly it was the elephant seals just relaxing. And they weigh up to, the males weigh up to about 2.5 tons. So, yeah. They can be aggressive, so they want to keep you about 25 feet away from them. You just got to be cautious of that. And here you can see, I'm positive, I'm almost sure this is a young male, but I could be wrong. But I got him nonetheless. What's awesome about this guy is that he's sitting there lounging, and you kind of get to see him move a little bit, and he's throwing the sand on them. That, from my understanding, it helps cool them down when they get out of the water. And there's also various other things that they do with the sand. It's almost like a sunscreen in that area is moving about. And they can move pretty fast for a short time. So if they are going to be defensive, they can move pretty fast. So you always want to keep a good 25 feet from them. What's good about these elephant seals and just Año Nuevo in general is they have a lot of volunteers that are here to research, to help us research and learn more about it. And they're in various locations of the park from different, points, and they're wearing red jackets. And they have rangers out there too. And they're there to answer any questions that you have. So it's great to go and just kind of ask them questions and just get a boatload of download. Here's some researchers, the sea lion researchers. And they are really cool people that are just making sure all the research is good. And they've got that little cart there that looks like, a Marsmobile. And they're doing all the research, tagging them, and making sure that everything's all going proper. So, always an awesome thing to check out because these elephant seals were almost extinct. I mean, they were almost slaughtered because they're so easy to get up to and to kill for oils or meats or anything that they were going to be using at the time. So, luckily, the population of elephant seals has been on the uprise. So these northern elephant seals, not to be confused with the southern elephant seals, are on a big uprise, as well as the southern ones as well. So it's nice, and this is one of the main meccas that they have. And there's like 2,000 that show up during the winter to go around and mate. And then their molting season usually starts in May, and then that'll go on all the way to August. There's my wife as we're going down, and a lot of cool sandy areas that you can walk along. To get from point to point, and just awesome to check out. And I just really like it. It was really really cool to go there. It was a little hotter in where we're at in the East Bay, and it's nice to go check out a place that's a little cooler, had some wind, and gets a little hot in the East Bay. And we ventured around and checked out several different locations. This was the south end of the beach there. They had a few elephant seals, but not as much as the north had. And they also report how many seals are in certain areas, where to see most of them, and they'll let you know all that before you go. And make sure you get your permit at the station by the parking lot. They'll tell you all that information. Parking is $10 to park your car there. Not too bad, and you're getting a whole lot of bang for your buck. It's definitely a place to check out, and it's right there, real close to Half Moon Bay and real close to Santa Cruz. So I mean, it's right between Santa Cruz and Half Moon Bay. We were going through here, and I started hearing a male really close. I'm like, okay, honey, just stay tight with me. I don't think anything was gonna happen, but it's always good to be a pro and make sure you're on it. And we go through here, and there's a lot of that, the sand and stuff, and then you see a lot of the shrubs. My wife is informing me that it's mainly males that are out here. And I'm telling her, where are all the ladies at? As far as males, as far as elephant seals. And there's a sign there. You can take the other part of the northern part of the beach and go that way if you wanted to. Or you can go another way where a lot of people were going. I tended to kind of avoid all the crowds and went a different way. I went to the south first and then the north. And there was like nobody on the south side. It was awesome, and the person that was volunteering with all the information just gave me a boatload of information. I have tons of questions to ask, so it was cool to have that available. It's just, I mean, you pay $10 for parking and you go all the way out there, and you have somebody with all this information to tell you anything you want to know. I mean, how cool is that? And you're staying cool in the summer. There are some sections here that have some bridges and stuff that just go on by, little footpaths, bridges, and those are in various little locations. Nothing too serious. So it's kind of cool to kind of go around that little adventure. I do recommend it for kids. I think kids will have a good time. The trails aren't too serious. It's pretty easy to moderate. It is a little bit of a distance. It can be a little bit more strenuous for some. Going through the sand can be a little difficult for some people. You kind of dig it in your ankles a little bit, but it makes it a lot easier if you're barefoot. And you're going on through there, so I do recommend it. But it is, you're looking at about 3 to 4 miles. There is bathrooms available before you get into the preserve, and there's bathrooms available in the parking lot, so that's always good to take in count there. So if you need to use the bathroom before you get in the preserve, you have one available too, and then you can use it when you come back. Here is some lupins. We're so commonly, we see a lot of lupins in especially the East Bay, where a lot of the lupins they're a purple. But here they have yellow lupins. So it was cool to see that. Plus they're blooming now. Usually we start seeing lupins bloom in like May, and then we get to like late June, and that's it. But out here they're blooming and they're yellow. So cool thing to check out. I don't know what these were. I asked Beth and she didn't know either. So Tyler, if you're watching this video, leave a comment down below. What is this flower? If you're able to, if it's enough visual there to identify it. If not, I totally understand. But I don't know what that is. If someone else knows as well as Tyler, leave a comment down below. And this is some of the sand dunes we had there. Just a various of different pictures. A lot of surfers down over there. But thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. You guys have all been so fantastic. You're the drive. You're the fuel for this channel, keeping it going. So I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.